Can't wait to hear this shit. I'll get the popcorn.
The beginning of the story is essentially the civilization's collapse, the planet is self-destructing, and the Prescott's disappeared, so there's no coalition anymore, and so they've taken to this Raven's Nest aircraft carrier, and they've gone out to sea to sort of stay away from the lambent infection, and so the Gears are together, those are the people they trust, and they're banding together to try to live out the rest of their days. One of the big challenges for us in terms of writing the story was really the fact that it's 4-player co-op, and trying to write a story where there's always 4 characters present in every scene is really difficult. Basically, no one goes to the bathroom, no one can do anything alone, essentially, and so you have to find all the sort of opportunities to have 4 characters and have a reason for all 4 characters to exist in a meaningful way. It's not just a single player and 3 clones; it's actually 4 different characters.
Is that sort of storytelling structure where you have groups split up and sort of recombine, like we saw in the campaign today, was that sort of the solution to that problem, where it gave you flexibility in terms of like groups of 4 that you would be giving certain experiences, or was that something you just wanted to do sort of differently?
Well, part of it was that we wanted you to we've always wanted to have interest in having you play as Coltrane and Baird and that kind of stuff, to not be in a squad with Marcus and Dom, and we've never really had a mechanic for that before. And so this allowed us, by doing this sort of time rewind where you can sort of start off a different mission, if you will, at the same time, and they sort of meet at the end where they take on the Leviathan. But it was really about Cole going to his hometown and getting to go back to being a thrashball star back, to where Hanover. And so we wanted you to experience that as Cole and not just watch Cole go through it. And so that was a big reason for that sort of division. Plus, at the end of the day, it allowed us to do 2 different sets of 4. A little bit. There's more stuff. Like, this kind of a running theme is this "you can't go home" sort of experience. And so Hoffman's gone back to Anvil Gate, where it's just the place of his most famous battle. Sam is from Anvil Gate, so there's that kind of homecoming there. There's Marcus trying to figure out what's going on with his father, and there's lots of that going throughout the story. I think, but it's kind of a spoiler to talk about. So yes, I think there's some uniqueness there in terms of what we're doing in that particular space. But it's just that idea of wanting to have. The big thing for us is that it's not a mission. It's not Delta Squad on a mission that they've been ordered to do. This is about people who don't have that structure, who are just really focused on, hey, this is some way that we're going to help a friend, like, Marcus and his friends, as opposed to the squad. And so that story is that journey is a personal journey. It's not a mission that you've been given. Wow, the biggest difference. Yeah, there's a ton of gameplay differences in terms of 2-player co-op to 4-player co-op. The fact that we went from Gears 2 is a little bit more, when you're dealing with the inside of a giant worm or you're dealing with caves, they tend to be a bit more linear, and now with 4-player co-op we've really blown out the experiences to what we call these combat walls, and so you have to have enough cover for 4 people, and you have to have all these flanking opportunities, so it harkens back more to the Gears of War 1 experience where you're having these battles, that sort of more emergent battles where you get to decide the gameplay. And we're just continuing to take the story deeper and deeper. Gears 1 started at one level, and then with each iteration we tend to try to go even more deeper into our storytelling and have more of it and get more character depth from it. The big would be multiplayer. We had that when we did Gears of War 2, we had probably 1,000 people test the multiplayer as part of our testing. We tested it every day, but still, you don't have that experience. Like when Gears 2 launched, we had 1.5 million people played on the first 2 nights, and we stumbled a little bit with that, with a new system, with that many people playing it, and so that's what we really were excited about with having the beta, is we were able to take that and test it early before September 20th, and get the dedicated servers out of the way, tested and out of the way, and get all that stuff worked out. And which now we're really excited for September. Before the beta, I was going to be chewing my nails, going, "Please God, I hope we don't have the same experience we had with Gears 2." And now it's like, oh, we've been through that. We know it works. It's going to be exciting. Yeah. I feel like we know what our core loop is. We know what our core combat is, and I think each time we play, or each time we build a game, we do that. We tighten up the cover. What does cover mean? The cover movements, and things like the mantle kick is a new feature for cover, stuff like that. And we look at stuff that we didn't have, like sharing ammo and trading weapons, and just making the co-op even stronger. So it's taking the stuff we know and then sort of layering newness on it, whether it be a new enemy, new weapons, new abilities, but still being true to what is a Gears shooter. Well, I don't know. Every time, I'm not the technical guy, so I always get in trouble with these types of questions. And I think I made a mistake on Gears 1 of saying something like that, and then realizing when you look at where we are now from Gears 1 to Gears 3, it's hard to say when you've hit the ceiling of anything anymore. It's just better code and better algorithms and more efficient use and more being able to really tap the hardware. So I don't know where the ceiling is, but I'm just excited the fact that we're able to, even our whole franchise is living on one platform right now, and we've been able to kind of move that needle further and further with each iteration.
situation?
Well, I mean, not really. I mean, we always knew we wanted to conclude the story. We didn't want to have a cliffhanger like, oh, I've been duped into some other thing, right? So it's just been a balance between how much conclusion do we give so people feel satisfied with the story versus we don't want to get rid of the mystique of the franchise. You don't want to explain where the monster comes from, because if you explain where the monster comes from, then people are less interested. So that's what's been the real trick, is like, okay, let's give a sense of closure, but don't let's close it so much that people never want to revisit. Well, it's a lot of, I mean, there's the hat being an Easter egg. I mean, that's one of the things that we really focus on is Easter eggs. We feel like that's something that helps the game live on after it's done. It's like people can go back and find these new things and go looking for them, exploring them. So this is the most Easter egg rich game that we've ever had, for sure. But I think there's the arcade mode on top of campaign, so that you can go back and play competitively for score. So making that sandbox feel gives it that replayability. The fact that the way that we've taken co-op and moved it up a notch from what it's been in the past. So it's not just duration, but it's just the quality of the experience. And the fact that we've had the extension from April to September means we've just pushed all the polish into it as well. I suggested the hardcore for you guys is that if you're familiar with the game, you should be playing on hardcore, because casual and normal are really balanced towards those types of players. I mean, casual is really casual, and you provide an auto aim assist, and you really have to work to die and that kind of stuff. It's really meant for the casual player. And so whereas if you're used to a cover-based shooter, then hardcore is the way you want to have that challenge. You want to fail occasionally because you feel like you're being challenged and you're progressing, right?
So where does that leave normal then?
Normal is still on the easier side. That's why I didn't want you guys. Like I said, if you've played Gears 1 and Gears 2, you shouldn't be firing up on normal. You should, because you literally, if you finished 1 and 2, you're a hardcore player whether you want to admit it or not. So it's really finding that. Basically for me, normal is kind of like casual without the aim assist. It's this idea of, okay, I've played shooters and I'm pretty decent, but I'm still not hardcore. Biggest risk, it's just every time you do it is sometimes you get mixed results. Some people there's the fans who love Gears, and there's people who don't like it very much for whatever reason. And so, we look at it as saying, okay, there's people that are out there that respect it, but maybe haven't played it yet. And that's what really the kind of people we're kind of going after now, is we're trying to make it the most accessible and saying, hey, if you haven't played before, Gears 3 is the version to start on, and then you can go back and play the other ones, but this is the best one to get into. So, it's just a matter of trying to not. Hopefully we didn't change it so much that the people who love it feel like we've abandoned them, but hopefully we have changed enough for the people who haven't played it in the past are encouraged to come and try it. Yeah, well, there's lots of stuff, like you use the new TACCOM functionality, like you push left bumper and it tells you where the objective is in the campaign, or tells you where the weapons are in multiplayer. There's the ability to spot now, the ability to work together more as a team. And just the fact that there's like the new co-op mode with beast mode and all this kind of stuff. Like, we really have tried to find a way to make it the most accessible. Because I'd say, like, hey, the controls are easier. We have a casual mode in multiplayer now. So if you've never played multiplayer before, you can come in and play with other people who are similar experience. And so just, like I said, trying to reach out and trying to grow people into being Gears players. Yeah, well, the world's changed quite a bit, right? It's now a post-apocalyptic world. It's not the kind of like, okay, we're just taking orders from our commander. And so we really wanted to focus on, we tried to push some of the storytelling into the world. I don't think we're not 100% like cinematic free by any means. We have lots of cinematics in the game, but we definitely wanted you to feel like, okay, I'm going to walk around the Raven's Nest and wow, they're growing crops, and oh look, there's life on the ship, and this is a small city. It's not just a ship. And same thing with the stranded community. You get to see what life is like there, what they're going through, and you get to encounter them and have these interactions where you realize, previously it was humans against locusts, and now because the locusts are for all intents and purposes gone, and the Lambent are the ones that are the issues. Like, you have this even confrontational interaction with humans because it's all about my food and my protecting what I have. So we're just trying to give you a sense of what it's like in the world now. I'm just looking forward to getting it out there and being able to play. I love Horde. Horde isn't the way I play. I'm a co-op player, and to be able to go out and play Horde and even play 4-player co-op in the campaign. In the past, you've been limited to one other person. So to be able to grab 3 friends, get in there and play through the game in co-op I'm just excited to be able to do that in the retail fashion, not just on dev. Gears of War 3 is out on September 20th on Xbox 360 exclusively, and hopefully we'll see everybody there.